Bowling with the Theft.
I encourage you to get fast.
Your bowling stories.
For all things the game of bowling.
Every week.
Helping bowlers.
The hand collapses down.
Live.
And I'm going to try to bowl the best I can.
2,000 subscribers. 2,000 subscribers.
I want to challenge Ken Nelson.
Tom Corbett.
Jason Belmonte.
Let's do this. This is Bowling with the Pfaff.
Well, good Tuesday evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bowling with the Pfaff, the platform for you to share your unique bowling story live on our YouTube channel. Really looking forward to this one tonight. I've chatted with this gentleman online quite a bit, checked out his YouTube channel, which you should too, and it is, we tried to set up a date for him to come on. I ended up with a conflict. We had to push it down the road a month, but here we are. And I can't wait to get into it. I got a couple things that I want to discuss first, and I do want to put a thank you out there to the Collegiate Club Coaches Association for bringing me on to stream the Collegiate Club National Championships this past weekend in Rockford, Illinois. And as you saw or may have heard on Facebook, it was a great day for UW-Whitewater and Coe College. They won the men's and women's national championships, respectively. What a great performance by both teams. Let's start out with the Whitewater story. It was Purdue University winning the winner's bracket. It was a double elimination format. So they win the winner's bracket. Whitewater lost to Purdue in winner's bracket play. So they had to go into the contenders bracket, make their way all the way back to the championship, which they did. And then they had to beat Purdue twice, which they did. It was an outstanding performance. And I want you to take a look at what they had to say afterwards.
It's pretty exciting. We haven't won this since I bowled. So I won my senior year, and it's the last time that we took home a club championship. So nice to kind of get one back, bring home back with us after a few years. And that's the way we did it. Obviously we got Purdue bowled really well against us when they knocked us to the contenders bracket. So to turn around and beat them not once but twice is pretty big.
When we were bowling them the first time, I wasn't really sold on what we were doing. So after that match, after we lost, it took some time to regroup and think about what we can do differently on the lanes to make them easier for ourselves. And everyone was trying to get left on our team. It just wasn't looking the greatest. So we committed to a couple of us going back right towards the gutter and just using all of that early hook to control the head pin. And we found it, and it looked really good, and we just stuck with it the whole time. I threw the same ball every single match and just dialed it in from there, and it was very, very, very nice to me.
It was very, very nice indeed. If you are a fan of the Warhawks, it's the third time they've won that event. And congratulations to Coach Mooney and that team and their supporters. Meanwhile, on the Coe side, they pretty much dominated throughout. They won the winner's bracket, went undefeated in match play, took on the Purdue women's team, and swept them 3-0 to win that championship. Here's what one of their players had to say afterwards.
Oh, it's so exciting. Considering that we're only a 5-year program, and I was one of the original starters that started up the program. So being national champion is crazy, and it's just so emotional. So it's really cool to see all of our hard work from being a startup program to now we're the national champions.
Yeah. If it seems like they were loud in that video, it is something to hear when you watch them bowl in person. They are very loud, very excited, and just very focused on the task at hand. Congratulations, Coach Randy Dodge and the Coe women on your national championship. Just a great event all around, and a big thanks to that Collegiate Club Coaches Association, Don Carter Lanes, creating the difference, the rest of the sponsors that put that on. Really a fantastic job, and I was glad I had a small part in that. Well, the more things change, the more they stay the same, right? EJ Tackett took the world championship, beat Jason Belmonte to do it, though. So that makes it kind of interesting. And speaking of interesting events, did you see the USBC Masters final? I didn't right away. I didn't see it live because it was on at the same time as that live stream of the Collegiate Club National Championship. But Gary Haynes defeats Anthony Simonson to win the USBC Masters Championship for his first PBA title, a major. That's exciting enough, right? If you saw the championship match, oh my gosh, it was like theater. Gary Haynes seemed to be lost, couldn't seem to get the ball off his hand. He was struggling. His ball rep, his tour rep, Dino Castillo, suggests that he goes and kisses his wife, which he does, and ends up throwing two outstanding shots and gets just enough to knock out Anthony Simonson in their second game. Again, he was one who had to be beaten twice because of the double elimination format there too. But to win that USBC Masters Championship, Castillo did make some remarks on Facebook about that. You can find that shared on the Bowling with the Fef Facebook group. And this weekend, Bowling with the Fef will be in Waukesha, Wisconsin for the PBA All-Star Weekend. It's April 4th and 5th at both Foxview Lanes and Waukesha. They also have a Pro-Am at Sussex Bowl, which Stefan and Cassie Hainan own. They own both of those centers. Interesting stuff, though, that All-Star Weekend at Foxview is going to be competed on sanctioned string pins. So USBC sanctioned string pins. And it'll be interesting. We'll have a two-handers versus one-handers match and a strike derby. And I'm hoping I can have some words with some of the best on tour because plenty of them will be out there and it will be something to see. So check with us for all that coverage and looking forward to it. Hope to bring you something special out of that. Hey, don't forget, we have a merch store on Etsy.com. It's Etsy.com/shop/bowling with the Fef Co. T-shirts and hoodies on sale right now. And our sponsors make this show possible. Jerry's Score More Bowling Supply inside Wagner's Lanes in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. You can give them a call at 715-559-1822. And if it's bowling and you want it, Jerry's got it or can get it for you. Great coaching, too, from Jerry Holdorf with a ton of experience and great competitive bowling of his own. So see Jerry for all that stuff. Also, Visionary Video Hub, video with impact, live streaming, voiceover podcasting, and, of course, good old-fashioned video production. Find out more at visionaryvideohub.com. And
handmade salsa is great, but it's such a hassle. Cutting yourself, the constant waiting, burning yourself. Oh, look at that mess. Oh. Raise your snack standards. Chip Magnet Salsa.
You know, it's just not worth it to make your own salsa when there's such good salsa out there from Chip Magnet Salsa. You can find it online at chipmagnetsalsa.com. And if you order a 6-pack of those jars, enter the promo code BWTF2025 at checkout. You get 25% off your order. A fantastic deal and some great salsa made right here in Wisconsin, in the Chippewa Valley, northwestern Wisconsin. Great stuff. Chip Magnet, raise your snack standards. And thank you so much to Chip Magnet for supporting bowling and Bowling with the Fef. Well, if you are a fan of PBA telecasts, championship bowling telecasts, of some of the greats from days gone by, you likely have heard of our guest tonight. He's from Staten Island, and he is the keeper of the video vault. He is John Irishpogi McLaughlin. John, welcome to Bowling with the Fef.
Hi, Mr. Fef. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad we finally got to do this. Like I alluded to before, we kind of tried. I had a conflict, had to reschedule, but here we are. And it is my pleasure to have you on and talk about your highly successful YouTube channel and your bowling story. Let's start with the channel because that's what I think most of our viewers know you for, is the Irishpogi channel on YouTube. You can find it at youtube.com/@Irishpogi. First of all, 10,000 plus subscribers. It's such a great accomplishment. Tell me about that, when you found out, and what your reaction was to that.
Well, when I started the YouTube channel back in 2007, I didn't think that I was going to get this kind of reception, but it just seemed like over time, when I started putting up classic bowling footage, the subscribers just started to come my way, and uh, they were coming in. I wouldn't say dribs and drabs. I would say I was getting like maybe 10 at a time, 11 at a time. It depends upon whether or not I put something up or not.
Yeah. It's like I said, an incredible accomplishment. And here's the proof right here, right? Guys like Jay Santos, who say, love this guy's collection of old PBA tournament videos, been subscribed for years. He calls this a great get. And it's people like Jay that show you that there's a demand for this stuff. There's an appetite for it, right?
Yes, apparently there is. Hi, Jay. Hope you're doing well.
He is great. He's a regular viewer from California. And we also have Mike Ware says, hi, John, my friend. That's somebody you know?
Yes, yes. He also has a very popular YouTube channel with a lot of classic bowling, and he's actually from Rhode Island, if I'm not mistaken.
Ah, okay. All right. So someone else on the East Coast there. I gotta ask, because I'm so entrenched in the content creation and the YouTube stuff, it's very hard sometimes to get these videos past whatever scrubbing mechanism system they have for determining and flushing out copyright violations. Even in the first video this weekend from Rockford, where I live streamed a bowling tournament, right? That got flagged for revenue sharing simply because of the version of the national anthem that was playing in the video. How do you get by the copyright violations in doing this?
Well, I I guess the best way of putting this is that I don't necessarily walk away unscathed. I think what happens is that you know the people that monitor the YouTube channel know that there is copyrighted music on some of the shows that I've posted, and what they've done was they wouldn't issue a strike against me, but they would just let the thing go and indicate that how can I say it? They're gonna let it go, but if someone else owns the copyright to a certain song that's used in the background of a video that I posted, that publishing company would want to put ads on my channel and get their revenue.
Sure. Yeah. How often would you say that you put up new videos? I mean, there's the back catalog is so extensive, but when we were chatting back and forth, you had mentioned a couple of shows that you had put up.
Well, it all depends on whether or not I have sufficient time and energy to take stuff off of either a VHS tape or a DVD and create video files from those sources. And if the stuff comes from a VHS tape, I have the appropriate video converting program that enables me to take the commercials out. I don't want the commercials to be played. It wasn't until I actually got a big box filled with spindles of classic shows that I wasn't able to use a certain video ripping program that I used to use. So I had to go for another one. And unfortunately, the format that this new program uses, it doesn't convert the video images into an AVI format. It would be MP4. And unfortunately, I don't have the technical means to convert, the MP4 files into an AVI, because if I had that ability, then I'd work harder at taking the original commercials out and make sure that they never saw the light of day.
Sure. Yeah. So it's a process for you. Again, Irishpogi on YouTube is the place, and it's really become a great source for people to find those telecasts from days gone by. Let's kind of get to the heart of the matter here, though. The channel is called Irishpogi. Your name has Irishpogi in it, whether it's on Facebook or down below you right there. What does that mean? Where did it originate? What's the deal with Irishpogi?
Okay, well, Irishpogi, my last name is Irish, and Pogi, P-O-G-I, means handsome in Tagalog. Tagalog is the language spoken in the Philippines. So I didn't think there would be anything else that would fit. So I figured Irishpogi would be a good match. I couldn't say Irish Guapo or anything to that effect,
Yeah. I would imagine that's kind of a conversation piece, right? Because that's how people know you now.
Yeah, I mean, people have asked me that numerous times, and I've had the same answer. The answer hasn't changed. Yeah.
That's great. Let's kind of get back into your bowling story, because not only are you a connoisseur of the telecast, but you have quite a history in bowling. How did that all start for you, and when?
Okay, well, my bowling history began in 1978. I was 15 years old and a high school student at Newdorp High School in Staten Island, and my school offered a bowling gym course, so I was able to take advantage of that, and not only was I able to go on the lanes and throw some balls, but they provided some instruction as well. And it turns out that the passion for this sport wasn't there from the get-go. It just something that was gradual and just started to hit me a little at a time.
Yeah. What was it that kind of built that up in you? I mean, we all kind of have different speeds that we get into this. I feel like I kind of got into it really fast and just never looked back, but it sounds like it was a little more, a little more measured for you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I started watching the PBA on ABC just shortly after I started. I mean, I didn't follow the tour very, very closely, but I saw that my fellow junior league bowlers had discussions about what was happening on the Pro Bowls tour. Meanwhile, I didn't really follow until I started watching the telecast myself. And when I started watching shows on television, Earl Anthony, Mark Roth, and Marshall Harmon and Wayne Webb were the predominant bowlers.
Yeah. And 78, such a special year for Roth, winning 8 different times. Of course,
yes,
we had a lot more events back then, but he must have been the star of stars, right?
Yes, but I couldn't relate to his style because it was just too explosive.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked watching Earl because Earl was nice and fluid. He was accurate. I mean, he was the perfect bowler to emulate if you were left-handed. Even if you're right-handed, if you just watch what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can duplicate what he did, but on the right-hand side, you may go somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. New York in the 70s, I mean, I think of action matches. Were you at all exposed to that or knew about it back then?
No, not until considerably later when I was into my adulthood, my early 20s. I actually had seen some action matches at Woodhaven Lanes in Queens moons ago. I mean, I basically stayed, just kept my bowling on Staten Island until I decided to to branch away, because I understand that there's a whole bowling world away from Staten Island, and I wasn't quite ready to embrace it. It wasn't until a few years later that I did.
Okay. And what prompted that? Was it because you had improved enough? You thought you needed to be at a certain level? Was there something else that kind of attracted you away from that general vicinity?
No, I just wanted to learn how other people did things in other places. When my late stepfather was a bowler, and one of the things that he ingrained in me as a young kid is to learn how to get around and learn how to bowl on different surfaces and different lanes, and learn how to play on different types of lane conditions.
Yeah. And that's important stuff. Would you consider him to be kind of your number one coach? Did you have other coaches?
Well, he was instrumental in at least providing me with encouragement and support. I mean, he didn't necessarily coach me, but I think the individual who was most instrumental was my high school gym teacher, Mr. Anthony Pucciarelli.
Okay.
I remember I struggled just trying to get to the foul line and deliver a shot, and he actually worked with me to try to, to get to the foul line and deliver a shot. It just took a while for things to develop, because I wasn't gifted athletically at all. I was, a borderline spaz.
But that's interesting, though, that the gym teacher was the one who kind of gave you that instruction that you needed. I mean, I can remember being in gym classes and having a unit on bowling, and they basically just send us out there and, do your thing, throw the ball. There was no real instruction there. Was it unique that he kind of took an interest in developing your skills at it, or was he doing this for your classmates and others?
Well, he did it for me because I guess he realized how much I struggled.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, you start bowling more and more, I'm guessing. You start developing your skills. What kind of outlets were there for you? Was there a big junior program? Did you have youth tournaments around your area?
There was a junior program on Staten Island, and the late Ruth Doctor was the individual that ran the junior program at former Bowling on the Green. That was the name of the bowling center that was close to where my family lived, and also that's where I began bowling.
Okay. And how big are we talking? Was this a junior program that we think of in 70s, 80s that fills the center?
Exactly, it was, and everything was tiered back then based upon the ability level. You had a classic, sort of like classic rung, where you had a lot of teenagers with well-developed physical games that had very good averages. They bowled together, and then you've got the next rung up beneath, and then the next rung beneath that. That's how it was grouped. It was basically grouped based upon ability, average.
Did you get to a point where you got to that top category and was able to compete against the best in your area?
No, because I became an adult and I left.
Ah, okay. All right. How early did you leave?
Mind you, I started bowling in 1978 and I was 15. So how many more years could they give me?
Yep. For sure. So
I'm sure that had I started bowling at a much younger age, I think I would have had different information to pass on.
Sure. What was that like, breaking into the adult scene for the first time?
It was okay because I knew a lot of the individuals. I mean, and a lot of the individuals were parents of my high school classmates. So that helped me, at least get adjusted to bowling with the other adults, and a lot of the other adults were mentors for me growing up, and I learned a lot from them, and I have a lot of gratitude towards them.
Yeah. What who were some of your teammates in leagues, and if you bowled any tournaments, did you travel with some of those folks?
Well, I kept my bowling local. It wasn't until years later, when I was like 46 when I went to nationals for the very first time in 2009.
Okay. All right. So you're in your community, but I mean, what about league teammates? Who did you bowl with?
Oh, you're asking me to turn back the hands of time. Are you talking about how many years are we speaking of? We're talking about 40-something years.
Was
There's a lot of people.
Different team every year, or
it kind of changed. I guess it all depended upon my schedule, whether the league stayed together. I mean, there were leagues that broke apart because of the fact that they didn't have the numbers, number one, or number two. The bowling center that hosted the league, they wanted to save those lanes for something else.
okay. So kind of the common issues that we deal with even today in the sport.
A lot of bowling centers closing and that kind of stuff. And when I first started bowling in 1978, Staten Island had like 8 bowling centers.
Okay.
Now there are just 2.
Yeah. It's sad to see centers like that go at such a clip, because they, like my last guest, John Knight, said they have personality. Each of them is a little bit different in that regard. Is there a favorite center that maybe you had great experiences in, years ago, that's just no longer around and you really miss?
Yeah, Sunset Lanes on Richmond Avenue and right near the Staten Island Mall. I like that bowling center. The place that I actually got my start at, Bowling on the Green, that's been gone since 2004. Sunset closed in 1994. Colonial was another place I enjoyed bowling at in Staten Island. That was right near in the Clifton section of Staten Island, just a short ride from the ferry. That building closed in 2000, and for some reason I liked bowling the dungeons versus the places with the high scoring environments.
Yeah. It's interesting that you bring that up, because last night I had a great conversation with one of your buddies. His name is Philip Marks. And he said that you will go out of your way to find a place that'll put out a sport pattern, which is awesome. I mean, that's, kind of right up my alley, pardon the pun. But what is it about the tougher shots, the sport patterns, the dungeons, as you call them, that really kind of gets you?
Well, I think that if you were to take a look at my bowling style, it's very classic stroker up the board type of shot. That's what I incorporate, and it seems like the individuals who are not equipped to dealing with such a condition, they will struggle. And I feel that under those circumstances, I wouldn't say that I would have an advantage, but I feel that I wouldn't be completely killed.
Sure. It has a way of evening the playing field, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. What do you remember about meeting Philip and starting to bowl with him?
Well, I met Philip back in 2000. I was bowling a league in Bowling on the Green on a Sunday morning. He was still bowling juniors. He was just graduating high school, or just graduated high school, and remained in the juniors. And We met at Bowling Green, and then the year later, he joined the league that I was a member of. And that's how the two of us had met and developed a very good friendship. And then he would tell me about his trips to nationals, and I always wanted to go, but never had the opportunity, and didn't know about the sub board, because had I known about the sub board, I would have put my name on them, and I would have tried to fly with them and watch them, and bowl at the same time, or or at least bowl during the time period that they're there.
Yeah. Which year was the first year that you went?
2009.
Oh, 2009. Okay. And
Yeah.
was that Reno?
No, that was Vegas in the Cashman Center.
Okay. All right. So a little different than it is now at South Point, but what was that experience like for you? I mean, you've been bowling now 30 plus years to finally get out there and have your first experience at nationals. What was it like?
It was overwhelming. I felt walking down Center Aisle was just it just felt weird, but exhilarating at the same time. Walking down the Center Aisle and going to your lanes. I mean, personally, I'd rather not go through that fanfare. You know where your assigned lanes are. Just go there, put your ball in the rack, and just put your shoes on and get going.
Yeah. No, it's I remember walking across the approaches at South Point last year, and it's something. You don't forget it, that's for sure. So you go out of your way to find these sports shots. Did you have success? Were there a lot of sport conditions and tougher places to play available to you?
Well, I remember there was one particular bowling center that when it was under its former ownership, Astoria Bowl. If that name sounds familiar, that is where Anthony Pepe, PBA champion, has gone and had videos recorded of him, bowling new storm bowls on a variety of PBA patterns. And I would go up there without a car from Staten Island to Astoria and practice on sport patterns. And I used to take videos of me throwing the ball because I want to learn. I just don't want to get stuck on bowling on house shots. And I remember there were a few people that I've known for a while. They asked me, why in God's name do I do that? But how am I going to develop as a bowler if I don't get away from the China? If I don't get away from the China, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. It's true. What have you found through that experience that it's like improving? I mean, the lot of us who end up bowling on those house shot leagues and ending up with inflated averages or whatever you want to call it, have a different experience than people who actually take the time, make the effort to bowl on those tougher shots.
Well, I mean, the thing is that the approach that you need to make when bowling on the tougher shots, you have to understand that your attack plan for making spares would be completely different than on a house shot, because you don't have that lake of oil to guide your ball. Or in my case, it hurt my ball because there are some house shots that have so much oil in the middle that left-hand spares, 2-4-5s or something of that variety are almost difficult to make because of all that oil. I mean, they suggest that you move 3 boards to the right and use the same target if you're trying to shoot for a 2-pin. Sometimes that doesn't work with that lake of oil in the middle.
Sure. Yeah, you have to come up with a different plan.
Correct.
Yeah. So 2009 is your first exposure to the Open Championships. And as you said earlier, the channel had started about a year prior. What were your expectations when you started that channel? Was it that it was going to get this big, or was it just kind of, casting your line and seeing what you'd catch along the way?
Door number 2. I didn't expect the channel to be as big as it turned up being because, well, just to give you a little thought process as to why I created the channel. YouTube was created in 2005, and then 2006, there were very few accounts that had put classic bowling footage on it. Like my friend Keith Kingston, Mr. Bowling 300. He's from Michigan, and he bowls league in a center owned by the great Alita Sill.
Okay.
So he created his channel, and then there were a few other channels that had been created, but there wasn't much footage of the women's tour. And I felt that the demographic of the women's tour, that was stuff that really needed to be added because there wasn't much there. And believe it or not, I think women's games are a lot more basic. Not everyone can relate to the Roth and Holman, but they can look at a Tish Johnson or Dana Millimaki, and if they're left-handed, they can say, okay, I see these two gals, and I feel like I can do what they do. It's easy. Yeah, it's easier to understand, and since the games are a lot more basic, it's it's more relatable.
You gravitate toward the shot makers.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And I kind of did, growing up through the game too. Is there, and we talked beforehand about a favorite telecast, but maybe is there a favorite style? There's so many people now who tear apart the guys who are doing the play-by-play and the color commentary now and saying, well, they're not Chris and Bo, and they're not Durbin and Schreiner. Do you have a favorite, or do they all work in a certain way for you?
You mean the announcers?
I mean, yeah, the announcers, or even the format. I mean, it's a little different now than it was on ABC, and ABC was a touch different than ESPN. I mean, is there kind of a favorite era, maybe?
Well, the format hasn't really changed. It wasn't until the new PBA instituted the bracket type of finals that we used to see on ESPN at the turn of the 21st century.
Yeah.
2001, 2002, 2003, we had the bracket format, whereas before we had the step ladder.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I think each they had the bracket finals back in the 60s also, but I didn't get a chance to watch those shows because my bowling involvement didn't start until the next decade, toward the end of the next decade.
Yeah.
But as far as favorite announced teams, well, I think each one of them had something unique to offer. Just that I think that there are some people that kept things too simple. But I guess it depends upon where you're at, skill-wise, at that particular point in time. I mean, if you're not very, very skilled and you're just looking to watch television and watch the show as it's in progress, then you want on this. Then Billy Whaley is the person that you can follow because he keeps things extremely simple. And the same thing could be said about Nelson Burton Jr.
Yeah.
When Chris Barnes started doing telecasts and talk about axis rotation, some of these people that I've described would be scratching their heads. Axis rotation? What is that?
Yeah.
And we'll start talking about things like tilt. I mean, you'll lose some people that are just, watching the shows for the first or second time. They're not the diehards like me,
Yeah.
I mean, even certain terms that were used on television, I scratch my head trying to figure out what they're trying to say.
Sure. Sure. Of all the recordings on your channel, which one is the oldest?
Well, I started posting shows in 2007. I created the YouTube channel on January 11th of 2007, but it wasn't until several months later that I started putting footage up. I had all this footage, but I didn't have the wherewithal, the knowledge needed to convert something from one format into another format and create, telecasts that people can watch on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the favorite things that Philip said to me during that conversation is he said that I remember one night giving him like the black garbage bags with all my old VCR tapes, and he was like a little kid coming out of a candy store. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you remember about that?
I was like, thank you. I was like, this was a really, really nice gesture, and I'm very, very thankful for what he did. And speaking about the materials, I mean, I have had developed friendships from people all around the country since the YouTube channel has been in existence. I mean, I met a number of people throughout my travels when I bowled in nationals. I mean, when I fly into Baton Rouge this coming May, this will be my 11th event. There are several years that I had to skip because of injury or work-related commitments, and I couldn't take off. People would send me stuff, and I wouldn't refuse it. I mean, as long as the content is playable, and if it's not on YouTube already, I'm going to put it up.
Sure. You mentioned at least one of the other creators on YouTube. Do you feel like there's kind of a community between those of you who kind of focus
Absolutely.
on this niche?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. What's it like? I mean, I can't imagine it's very big even now.
It's very interesting. As a matter of fact, if anything, Mr. Bowling 300 actually was the one that led me to someone who actually sent me a whole bunch of spindles of DVDs with a variety of shows going back to the original 1970 Firestone Tournament of Champions.
Oh wow!
Back in 2006, ESPN Classic had been putting up condensed versions of that particular telecast, but I have the full telecast, all 4 unedited matches. Whereas when you look at the truncated version of that particular show, the only full matches that were up there were the semifinal matches between Mike Durbin and Dick Ritker, and the championship match between Dick Ritker and Don Johnson. And they only show like maybe a few frames of the first match between Barry Asher and Jim Stefanich, and match 2 featuring Jim Stefanich and Dick Ritker.
Yeah. Wow. And those are great names. I mean, Hall of Famers all around.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think of the changes in the sport? I mean, it's you come from a place where you started with polyester balls, rubber bowling balls, wooden lanes. We're at a place now where it's almost a different sport, right?
It seemed like that. I mean, if you look at the objectives of the sport, the main objective is to knock 10 pins down within 2 balls in a frame. I mean, the technique that we employ in order to achieve those objectives has changed. I think there are a lot more variables now compared to then. I mean, when I got started, the urethane ball wasn't even created.
Yeah. Yeah. The story I had heard was that one of the ball companies was tasked with making a bowling ball that would help bowlers who couldn't turn it up like Roth play a similar line as Roth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that if you want to see your ball hook a lot and smash the pins, that's one thing. But I'm more or less the type of individual. I'd rather rely on accuracy and shot making. That's just my personal preference.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned, having plans to go to Baton Rouge and go to the Open Championships. Where do you see your future as far as participating in the sport?
Well, I see myself continuing on for as long as I have my health. I mean, I just turned 62 a few months ago. There are some people that don't believe me when I tell them that of my age. Like I went to the T-Mobile store earlier today to sign up for a new phone. The young lady that waited on me, she thought I was bull crapping her. She thought I was pulling her leg when I told her my age.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what about the channel? I mean,
Oh, that's going to continue to go. I'm going to continue to add things. I mean, I'm going to continue to network with others to see if I can get my hands on telecasts that have not been added. The last thing I want to do is put up stuff that was already put up by someone else. I want to just offer something that no one else has ever seen, or at least not seen in a very long time.
Sure. You watch enough YouTube videos, you hear us all say like and subscribe, like and subscribe. Other than people going to your channel, subscribing, liking, like all the rest, is there, something that people can do to help support this effort of yours?
Well, I mean, I have a sizable enough footprint on social media. If they want to have local tournaments that add on local cable televisions stations in their region, if they want to see that footage get exposed to other people, they can always reach out to me. Case in point, someone from Pennsylvania actually had sent me some stuff featuring PBA regional event. I think it was Mark Bowers. Mark Bowers from Pennsylvania had sent me some VHS tapes featuring his wins at Harrisburg and some other place. One from 1990, another one from 1989. And I remember the late Pete Couture was in one of the shows. Parker was in one of the shows. Arnie Goldman from Detroit, Michigan. I don't know if he had relocated to the East at that particular point in time. Who else was on the show? Some other individuals that weren't really well known nationally. And I had someone from the West Coast send me some stuff that was recorded in Arizona. There were like two shows, one from 98, another one from 99, that was held in bowling centers in Arizona. And this kind of footage was never, made available to YouTube subscribers or YouTube people that tuned in, rather.
Yeah,
and at least they have the ability to see it now. And if anyone wants to send me local tournament footage from back then, I'd be more than happy to post it.
Yeah, Yeah. Well, it's, like I said in the beginning, it's a great service that you're doing and a great resource for people to see these telecasts from days gone by, because I can remember growing up in a pro shop that literally had a stack of VHS tapes, and they'd play the old telecasts, up there, and you'd sit there and watch. But to be able to do it at your leisure, on demand, wherever you are, is really pretty cool, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure doing this for the bowling community. It's an honor and a privilege.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's great stuff, and I'm glad to hear that it goes on. So with that, why don't we go off the sheet?
Let's go off the sheet.
Okay.
Challenge a bowler to appear on a future episode.
I would like to challenge Will Madison.
I would say Diana Zavulova.
The better Russo, Lauren Russo.
We're looking for anyone who has a passion for the sport and a unique story to tell.
So those are the parameters. Doesn't have to be the greatest bowler in the world, but certainly can be. But John Irishpogi McLaughlin, who would you like to challenge to be on a future episode of Bowling with the Fef?
Chris Warren.
Okay. And why Chris Warren? He's a Texas guy. Which, have you met him before?
Yeah, I met him for the first time in 2019 when Samstown was hosting the Senior Masters.
Ah, okay. See, what I remember, I have pretty vivid memories of seeing him on telecast back in the day, and maybe not out turning everybody on tour, but certainly having that huge, that huge hook covering so many boards back in those days.
Mm-hmm. And if you can't get him, then another person I like to see would be Dana Milamaki.
Yeah. Yeah. The star of the LPBT, PWBA from in the 80s and I believe early 90s.
Yes. As a matter of fact, Dana had won 16 national titles, including 2 U.S. Opens.
Wow. It's an impressive
record. Yeah. And the one thing I could tell you about Dana, the first time I watched her, what intrigued me was her attire. She used to wear some of the loudest outfits on television. The first time I watched her, this was the fall of 1990. She wore this white-colored dress with paperclip stencils in different colors.
Yeah.
I found that to be very unique. And then I think once I found out that she was going to be on the telecast, I think the biggest draw for me would be, what is she going to wear? She's been known to wear kind of, a number of loud outfits throughout her career.
Yeah. Yeah. But definitely one of the best players of her era. And yeah, those are 2 big names. And Chris and Dana, if you happen to be seeing this and want to take Mr. Irishpogi up on his challenge, you can find me on Facebook or email bowlingwiththefef@yahoo.com, and we will definitely make that happen. Well, my next stop, as I mentioned off the top, All-Star Weekend, this weekend, the 4th and 5th at Foxview Lanes in Waukesha, Sussex Bowl in Sussex, Wisconsin. And that is going to occupy my time at the end of the week. I hope you'll have some more, some more great content on your channel to help the rest of us occupy our time, because it's great to watch for sure.
Yeah, I just have to go through the spindles because the spindles are not in any date order.
Oh.
And because of that, it makes it a bigger project.
Sure.
I just hope that if the 1982 Showboat Invitational, if that's in there, that'll be the next thing I'm posting, because that is the only win for Jim Miller.
Ah, okay.
And then another show, the 1982 Quake Estate. If that's within the rubble, that's going to go up because that's the first title for Art Trask.
Okay. All right.
And
Cool.
I'm not going to post something that someone else has posted.
Sure.
What's the fun in that?
Yep. Yeah. Keep it original. Yeah.
Correct.
Cool. Well, John, it has been a pleasure getting to know you and your bowling story, and continued success with that channel. I know a lot of people that love seeing those old telecasts, and they hope you keep on doing it, and so do I.
And thank you for having me. And I'm going to continue posting for as long as God gives me the breath of life.
Great to hear. Everyone, thanks so much for watching tonight. Always appreciated. We will see you again next.
Thank you for watching Bowling with the Fef. Pound the like button and subscribe button. It's the easiest way to support the channel, and it's free. Bowling with the Fef is brought to you by Chip Magnet. Raise your snack standards.
Jerry's Score More Bowling Supply inside Wagner's Lane. So Eau Claire, Wisconsin area's leader in bowling products and services since 1988. And Visionary Video Hub, video with impact.
Email bowlingwiththefef@yahoo.com with questions or to appear on the show. You can also reach out on your favorite social media platform.